older. Ready fi roll, ready fi roll, ready fi roll. Vernon Derby.
Welcome back. You're listening to Riddim FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. This is Vernon Derby, the People's Advocate, and I am going to have to go back on the salary issue for the public sector. It includes public servants, civil servants, all those who work for government or political leaders, the Governor General. The matter has not been resolved. I don't know how we are going to resolve it, but it has not been resolved. All right, say the Prime Minister has decided not to accept the new salary. That is a decision that has been made by Cabinet already. How do you deal with that? So there you have a strange situation. Here you have the Prime Minister getting less pay than the leader of the opposition. And I need to check on that. He's probably getting less pay than other members of the cabinet. Now, that is an untenable situation. And next thing you hear is that the Prime Minister will be getting less pay than the permanent secretaries and other top persons in the public sector. That is an untenable situation. So that matter has not been resolved. I'm throwing it out there because I want other persons to pick it up and to let us a discussion on this matter. How are we going to move forward? The matter can't be just thrown out like that. It can't. So the matter is still hot. The next thing, if you have an election today and you have a new government and a new Prime Minister, will the decision of the current Prime Minister in terms of not accepting an increase in salary bound the next Prime Minister or the next leader of the opposition? Same thing for the leader of the opposition. You know, suppose you have election now, you have another leader of the opposition. You can't force him to go by what the previous leader of the opposition agreed to do. So, we are definitely in an untenable situation, which I will put it out there very strongly. It requires national discussion at the cabinet level, and also discussion in Parliament. We would not have had to go down this road if the matter was discussed before. This is something that we have said time and time again, especially myself and Wendell, and we discuss legal matters, that too often things just come about like Nicodemus in the night, and they're just announced like that. What we need to do is not only discuss them in Parliament, because let me tell you something, at the time we discuss things in Parliament, and the nation is not listening at all. So, our MPs need to reach out, talk to people, get things out there, means and ways to get it out there. I must tell you, I have a warm time getting some of them to come on radio to talk with me. But I'm saying to the nation again, the salary issue for the public sector, our political leaders, the Governor General, it has not been resolved. We cannot sit down and just say, it's all right. No, you can't run a country like that. So, the matter is still unresolved, and we cannot continue with a matter like that unresolved. So, Mr. Prime Minister, you can't just say you're not taking any increase, and that's the end of the matter. No, sir. No, sir. And it also questions the authority of the cabinet and other bodies that are responsible for making decisions. You can't have a country where decisions are made and political leaders can now make another decision. No, you can't. Mark you though, there's one thing they can do. When they get the money, they can decide what they are going to do with the money. But you can't, the decisions cannot be made in terms of salaries for various public servants and those who are in the political arena. And then you just decide on your own. It might sound good to the ears of the electorate, but I will tell you all that the electorate is becoming a bit more sophisticated. And especially with programs like this one, We're now having a more thinking people. And although they are being bombarded with information on the internet, yes, you're having more information, but sometimes more information creates confusion. But there are a number of persons out there who are thinking. So, let me say it again. This matter has not been resolved, and it has to be resolved. There's one thing I would suggest, which the India has suggested. I suggested something, but they have made a better suggestion than I have made, that we should look at salaries. Well, generally, you should be guided by your gross domestic product. Anything, any money you're going to spend, your debt, for example. Under no condition, any government should be allowed to incur debt, which we have in the past, which is above a certain percentage of the gross domestic product. No, should not allow that at all. We need to have a ceiling on that, and that should be in the Constitution. And if we have a crisis and you need to go beyond that, you should have probably at least 2/3 majority in the House of Parliament. You see, you have a state of emergency, you require 2/3. But when it comes to money, money is crucial. When it comes to money, we allow the governments to do what they want to do. No, that has got to stop. And while we're talking about the Constitution, somewhere in that Constitution, and my friends who are listening, please, I'm begging to run with this one. Something has to go into the Constitution to control our political leaders as to how they deal with our finances. We have paid for it dearly in the past. We cannot continue with a Constitution which will allow any political leader to do what has been done in the past. And that means, like, when I call it run with it or print money, no. The Constitution must state. You see, they make us feel nice. They give us all kind of rights. But financial rights, which means they can spend your money how they feel like spending it, it's not there. That needs to go into our Constitution. So those who are listening, I beg you, run with this one. We have to put controls. We're talking about accountability, but in the Constitution, our leaders must be held accountable in terms of how they manage the taxpayer money. All right, so I spent enough time on salaries, but let me tell you something. This one cannot go away. It has not been resolved. Sorry, Mr. Prime Minister. Sorry, Mr. Leader of the Opposition. It's so nice to say we're going to give yours to charity. Well, guess what? Just add me to the charity. That did not work. It worked for politics, or some will say politricks. So the Prime Minister is not going to accept the salary. The Leader of the Opposition is going to give his to charity. Nice politricks, but other than trick with that time. So come again with something better. Don Robin Acres. It's about the third time that we have had broken mains in that area. Something is going wrong. National Water Commission, please check on that for me. No? Another broken main last night again, really. I want to congratulate the Rotary Club of Christiana. I gather that you gave a baby warmer to the Percy Junior Hospital. Nice matter, man. Nice. And these are the things we need to hear more about. So you must hide them things from me next time. You must send them to me, picture now, and let me see what you're doing. So that's great. So congratulations. So we need these service clubs, we need them. Very, very important. For one, it allows persons to come together and work together and to do some good. Too much evil in Jamaica. Yeah, man, too much evil. The JTA industrial action, that is one thing that I've been spot on. You remember when the JTA president did not sign that MOU, and many of you go off, this on the speculator and so on. So listen, that woman, she no fool. She know what she do. The JTA, and I will tell persons in the media, when you write to the news, you must be careful, because I'm not going to ask you. When you write certain things, you're implicating or you should be implying certain things. You must stop doing it, right? They had some meeting there. The JTA called a meeting and some persons didn't turn up. And when you read the article was more about, cause goes to question why certain persons didn't turn up. It wasn't about what was said and what was going to happen. So most listeners would think that there's division in the JTA. There might be, but one thing is clear, that president seems to have her finger on the pulse of the membership. You'll notice that they are following her. But I'm reading into it now, and Mark, this is my opinion now. I'm not a news person, this is my opinion. It is possible that people within the JTA have their own agenda. But I would warn them, tread carefully. Especially those who intend to take over the JTA in the future, because I think they have what they call now the president-elect. Mr. President-elect or Miss President-elect, I don't even know who it is. I don't know, I'm only putting things out there, you have to care for how you function while there is a president. Because if you function in a particular way, you might find that you're out of touch with the teacher. So when you take over, the good Lord help you. So, so those who are pointing fingers at the JTA president, that's some persons tell us, what? She must have run for the PMP. So what if she run for the PMP and GLP? It's neither here nor there. Today, she represents the teachers. And I've asked her to come on the program on Monday. I hope she come. At least when I call her, she'll come. I found out political leaders are not afraid to come. You know, when they ask to come, then I come. Also me bad? I don't know afraid of me. I don't say, oh, no bad, no big coward, I'm big afraid. All right? So, leave the JTA head alone. The teachers obviously are working with her, and she said there are discrepancies. I hear persons talking about, oh, it's only 10 persons. It does not matter. I don't love the statistics. If one person get an MP or one family in trouble, we need to fix it. And can tell you, in last year, I did point out as to what would happen when we rush this thing through. We rush it and we see what is happening now. All right? So we need to do things in a better way. Also, a very important matter which I need to bring to your attention, you will note the United States statement or travel advisory put out. And I've heard it said that in other quarters, or in some quarters, that is not affecting the arrival of tourists. But I have a report here of a team from a university they were supposed to come to Jamaica to participate in sporting activities. They have cancelled their visit. So that's we have to think about that. And but I hear some people talk about, oh, United States have put out them travel advisory. We must put out for it too. That is a petty way of thinking, right? Very petty, right? You have to understand, we are one look at that. So when you go tit for tat, you're wasting your time. The fact is the crime situation in the country is bad. Don't let the ego, don't let no patriotic. If you're patriotic, you say bad, you need to fix. And the United States and other countries have a responsibility to protect their citizens and to advise them where to go and where not to go. If we need their money, we need to fix things here. And for over 30 years now, we have not been able to deal with the crime situation decisively. So left the United States alone. You think you can run up there? Try on yourself first. And what we should try to do, when we have an incarcerated person, for example, I saw in the paper here where prison authorities probing how cartel had 2 cell phones behind bars. You know, just I find that out. I saw you go. I hear a story for a long time, and people wonder how people that are prison do certain things. When you can't manage things like this, then you have a serious challenge. Man can't be at prison and I drinking big liquor and with them, and I say him, but I've seen other pictures. I know you hear say, nah, cell phone. Well, you know what needs to happen? If you find cell phone there, the head of that prison should go home. And probably nothing fault, but guess what? Somebody must be held accountable. The same as I tell their man find one baby and go to the hospital, and the hospital send the man to another hospital. Who's held accountable for that? Nobody. You can't say man carry a baby, you tell the man to carry to go to children's hospital. And I have had other cases that I have reported and nothing not come out right. Because what? Everybody are friend and everybody are protect one another. And guess what? In the meantime, the people suffer. I see someone who start stand up now, but the whole one fast asleep for a long time. A long time, you must get up, right? And you must get up. I'm not big afraid, all right? So, today I've been quite outspoken because I have to be, all right? I just have to because things not right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you give a little more,